I'm sure that the majority of everyone listening remembers the Save the Turtles trend that started a couple years ago and later died out. Millions of people posted pictures and created videos to post across different social medias, expressing their concern with turtles that were and are continuing to die because of littered plastic in our world's oceans. I was one of those people. A couple years ago, when I first got social media, I loved the rush of posting and seeing how many people liked my post, how many views I was getting on each story. Now, this phase would continue for a couple of months, and whenever any of my friends posted something, I would post it too. I can remember this point in time when the rush and excitement started to turn into disappointment. My life on the internet started to feel like it wasn't mine, and it trickled into my real life. Every day I was waking up and counting down the hours until the day would end, dreading even the things I loved to do most. I was starting to feel like I wasn't myself, and something needed to change. With this part of my life now in hindsight, I can categorize the disappointment I felt into 3 parts. First, as an advocate for social change. Second, as an individual with an identity. And third, as a Jew. The main exposure that many of us have to social causes is through social media. When something arises in our world, the initial reaction of most is to post about it. And this goes for social matters and movements as well. The Save the Turtles movement seems to provide a good example because of how fast its popularity grew, followed by how fast it fell. Everyone, including myself, was posting the same couple of posts, mainly for the reason that the people around me were. Not to say that I didn't care about the lives of vulnerable turtles, but the reason I was posting about them was not because I cared. This right here devalues the social movements this happens to, because all of the support being shown is not real. So when that particular movement loses its popularity online, it will simultaneously lose its support. And as someone with a passion for social change, it hurt to know that I was part of the deterioration of multiple social causes. The second disappointment I felt was as an individual. Through only using my social media to copy what others were doing, I felt as though I was mimicking a social expectancy, and it didn't feel good. Day in and day out, I was throwing my identity away every time I followed the crowd for a weak sense of belonging. This loss of identity caused me to make choices I'm not proud of and lose some of the people I worked so hard to become close with. Because even though I thought I was becoming more like everyone else, I was really just becoming more lonely. And as someone who took pride in their uniqueness and ability to stand out, it took time to realize what was truly happening. The third and final disappointment that I felt was as a Jew. The reason being that the actions that I was displaying were that of the actions that have historically hurt the Jewish people. Just for reference, a social movement I used to post about extensively was the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, at the time, I posted the black square on Blackout Tuesday, along with all the other posts about the topic, not taking the time to think about it, yet I still posted them. I didn't feel the permission of freedom of thought around such a sensitive, complex topic, because if I halted in my support for even an instant, I would be punished socially. Because of the temptation to post something, especially after the death of George Floyd, I didn't know how to discern what was a lie and what was the truth, yet I carried on in my support. Between the social predisposition to massively enact slogans without the sharpness nor permission to doubt or ask questions, and the increasing tendency to control, monitor, and even punish freedom of thought is the exact ingredient that has historically fertilized the ground for the most ruthless totalitarian ideologies that came up in the 20th century, in which Jews were targeted in particular. So when these unexplored so-called truths are rushed down our throats with no permission to doubt their axioms, As Jews, we should be able to smell the madness of crowds and what their dangers might imply for us. We should know better. So the plan I have to solve my disappointments lies in a question. Why is it important for us to be vigilant in the face of the temptations of social belonging? And there are a couple of answers. At this rate, if we don't wake up, there will come a time when we are not able to understand ourselves as individuals if we only construct our identity in relation to the crowd we crave to belong to. History has shown us that this is a recipe for the worst of the worst that humans can produce. We have lived it and we have seen it on many of our great-grandfathers' wrists. So, I'm not saying to not participate the next time you see something going around on social media. I'm just saying that you always have the power. The power to ask the necessary questions that allow you as an individual to decide what you accept and reject from what the crowd demands. In order to avoid the dangers of crowds, we must always stay keen on not erasing our individual identity to discern right from wrong. And sometimes, choosing to be yourself can cause you to go down lonely roads. But as Jews, this must stay at the back of our minds, because when mobs have become too enthusiastic, we have been the first to pay. So just remember, you can always stop, take a deep breath, ask yourself what you're doing. Ask yourself if you feel represented by what you're witnessing. You will always want to go to sleep with a version of yourself that you had not betrayed, that was authentic, that stood its ground and knew who they were. A version of yourself that you can be proud of. Thank you.